All right, well, this is just ridiculous, and CNN should just be ashamed of themselves. I mean, they should have been continuously ashamed of themselves for as long as I can remember. But this is the newest edition of ridiculous crap that they spew out. Brian Stelter sent out this tweet quoting what Anderson Cooper said, which was that it's been 150 days since the worst single act of political violence since the Civil War. And the man who incited it, Trump, is crying about being kept off of social media. Well, first off, January 6th was the single worst act of political violence since the Civil War. On what planet exactly? It's certainly not planet Earth. Because seriously, wasn't it just last summer that cities were burning across the United States because leftist sociopaths were looting, rioting, threatening, vandalizing, and in some cases even murdering all over the place? This was all politically motivated violence, and even after destroying all these small businesses, they would take to Twitter and say F your small business and get a boatload of praise for it. I know, despite hating Trump, Anderson Cooper and Brian Stelter still worship at the altar of the state, so I guess when it happens to the lowly common person, this is easily forgettable. It's peaceful and calm, never mind the burning building behind us, it's just the peasants. But when it's done in the sacred halls of Congress, well, that's just unacceptable. And also, you probably know, I'm not Trump's #1 fan by any means, but remember on January 6th when Donald Trump was telling everyone to be peaceful, don't go crazy, etc.? How exactly is that inciting violence? And also, how is it not highly suspicious that CNN conveniently left that footage out of all the coverage they did on this? I wonder how this works. And by the way, if you're going to blame Trump for January 6th, which again wasn't even really that violent, it was a few hundred unarmed weirdos taking selfies and walking aimlessly through the Capitol for the most part. It was a lot less violent than last summer, with BLM and Antifa doing what leftist socialists do best, which is mayhem and chaos. So if you're gonna blame Trump for January 6th, okay, then why don't you blame Nancy Pelosi or Maxine Waters or AOC for their rhetoric designed to whip people up into a frenzy? Hell, wasn't it Nancy Pelosi that said she didn't know why there weren't uprisings all over the country before last summer? Yet you won't say that she should take some of the responsibility for what happened, because your standards by which you assign blame are not based in reality or objectivity. It's purely a political game of stupidity, and it's just too obvious. But I can't help but hear Cooper say that this was the worst political violence since the Civil War, and not think of other examples that were clearly far worse than January 6th, not even in the same ballpark. How about when James Hodgkinson, a Bernie Sanders supporter, in fact, he worked in the Bernie Sanders campaign, on the morning of June 14th, 2017, so we're not even talking about ancient history here, he walks up to the baseball field that people in Congress were practicing at, he asks if it was Democrats or Republicans who are playing, he's told they're Republicans, and he comes back later and starts shooting, and he sends several people to the hospital in critical condition, nearly killing them. That is so clearly far worse than what happened on January 6th. And it's a very simple search to find this stuff out, but I guess CNN couldn't be bothered to search for it or even think of it, because I know that they know that that actually happened. But this is all too bad for them, because it led to Anderson Cooper uttering here one of the dumbest things I've heard in a long while. And you know, why would they want to be accurate anyway? That would just get in the way of their politically warped biases. After all, it wasn't that long ago that Project Veritas revealed the undercover footage of that technical director at CNN saying outright that they will conveniently leave out things and try their best to warp stories to fit their political narrative that they want to express. But anyway, how about the Weather Underground? That's another example of something far worse than January 6th. Here we go again with leftist Marxist types. They bombed the Capitol building and the Pentagon and caused upwards to $300,000 in damages. Again, this was in the 1970s, so it's, not ancient history again. They could have easily killed a lot of people. January 6th was a picnic compared to that. And then there was 9/11. I don't think I need to say anything about that. I just need to mention that, and you should automatically watch this Anderson Cooper clip and say, oh, Cooper's a nutbag. So anyway, how anyone still watches or listens to CNN anymore is beyond me. These people are absolutely grotesque in how low they will go to twist, contort, and conveniently omit facts in order to advance their narrative. It never seems to cross their mind that maybe, since they have to do all this patchworking of facts to advance their narrative, maybe they're just wrong. I mean, if I had knowingly BS'd my way at nearly all times in trying to advance libertarianism or small government ideology and leave out tons of examples that prove me wrong, if I had to do that, I would give it up. I would say I've obviously messed something up, and what I'm advocating for isn't something I can believe in sincerely. Thankfully, I don't. I can actually look at what I believe in and what I advocate for in an honest and objective way, and I can ask myself if I'm wrong about something. I can look into counterexamples and challenge my own views and still come away highly confident that a large centrally controlling government is not the right way to go about things. And who are we kidding? This would be a poisonous exercise to CNN. They wouldn't be caught dead fact-checking themselves, or asking themselves that incredibly important question, which is, of course, what if I'm wrong? But anyway, that's all for now. Like, subscribe, comment, and please share this video. It's hugely helpful and appreciated. And take it easy.